So no doubt one or two of you have thought, well, this has been out for the last couple of days about apparently Keir Starmer announcing that Labour's going to roll out a digital ID whether you like it or not. Surely God, Scott's going to have done a video on that one. Well, look, how many years have we been doing vids about digital IDs, cashless societies, social credit score systems? We've given examples of where the entertainment industry has externalised it over decades. You've told people about certain books, but few people read. That's not all people. I know there's fine people out there that read regularly and, take a recommendation or two and have got back to you and said, wow, yeah, I see it, blah, blah, blah. But you'd be astounded just how many people don't. And thus, they're operating with limited information. So although they may be, in certain regards, popular, for example, in social media, they truly have not got where this is all going and the reasons behind it. But anyway, under fair use, let me grab a speaker and play you some of the following. Now, the title is Fascist PM Keir Starmer Announces Labour Rollout of Digital ID. Uploaded roughly about 4 hours ago as I do this vid. Now, I watched it in its entirety and I was almost tempted to do a vid, stopping occasionally, but playing it in its entirety, because what he says is just quite alarming. Absolutely. But anyway, under fair use, stopping occasionally, let me play you the following.
Example from the United Kingdom. Yesterday, we announced £5 billion to be spent by local people, however they see fit, in their communities.
Now, do you honestly think that's the case? Or is it more likely to be peppered with third sector activists masquerading under the guise of charities, some of which they just set up, they're there for a wee while, sometimes even months, and then shut down again, but it's seen as positive and helping the community and to help social cohesion. And many of them have been doing this for years. We need to revitalise X, Y, and Z. But you tend to find that pretty much most of these charities fail miserably. But that's what they're set up to do. So as he says, oh no, we're just going to give, Joe Blogs out there some dosh to help make their communities better. Nah. And he goes on to give a couple of examples. Restoring a pub. How many pubs have his lot and various others before him destroyed based on their, quote, policies? And all I've ever said is these people are well-paid actors. Yeah. It's the civil service and various, think tanks and other groups that basically run things. They're just well-paid puppets. Well-paid.
Reviving a community hall, reopening a youth club, but the important thing...
So even if you do occasionally see, for example, a pub rejuvenated, and it's all this sort of collectivism on steroids, and it's owned by the community, blah, 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 but it's by and large staffed with, a certain percentage of occultists, and, anybody taught any ounce of common sense, well, they can't be part of that community. It's collectivism on steroids, yeah? It's communism with technocracy at its core.
Is not coming cap in hand to Whitehall to get the green light on a project, but actually allowing control to be with the communities where the funding is going, so they can choose what it's spent on, because those with skin in the game know what's best for their communities. It's about restoring control and agency, having the respect for working people to choose what's right for them. And that is how they stand proudly as partners.
Now, if that was ever true, wouldn't you think that most people wouldn't have this uncontrolled immigration? In fact, they pretty much put a stop on immigration, full stop. Do you think that most of the population who has those thoughts have been given any kind of voice at all to make that happen? But no. We're gonna give them choice when there is none, ultimately, because the rollout of a digital ID. Sorry, you got the wrong opinion. You've drove your car too much, you've done X, Y, and Z, you've ate the wrong things according to what we want you to eat, well, your life's going to turn into a pile of shite and it's your own fault because you haven't gone along with the collective.
In a social democratic nation.
And he's all the way through this, he keeps saying social democratic. Wait, what? You know, the rebranding of everything, including Labour.
So our approach to the economy, investment, yes, of course, in everything from defence to energy.
And how's that working? Honestly, how is that working for us? And by the way, do you think it's an accident about pretty much the collapse of the car industry when you look around globally? All these companies suddenly make mistakes. Putting out engines, normally they're well renowned for reliability, and all of a sudden, over the last few years, they've been putting in vastly small engines into, well, quite heavy vehicles, and knowing full well that their life expectancy of that engine is going to be far less. And then they put things like wet belts, knowing full well they'll break up over time. Yeah. And then you look at Jaguar and you look at others and you think, well, why would you do that? But it's part of that sort of, Atlas Shrugged style collapse, deliberate collapse. Yeah. To then create look around you.
In good, well-paid jobs. Industrial policy, yes, of course. Our proud heritage of making things.
Historically, yes. But look at the last few decades. People like myself and others have been talking about it for decades and going, look, people, if all your goods that you're buying are built abroad, are made abroad, substandard, shitty, but a lot less cheaper, where do you think that goes for our country in the long term? And so few people can see it to this day. And we're all paying for it. Seriously. Islands like the UK used to be an absolute powerhouse for good reason. Seriously. Highly skilled people. Common sense, confidence in a long working life and so many things and rich families and all that. Yeah? To bring about this new world order, you have to destroy, utterly shred first world nations. Their values, their intellect, their history, you name it, seriously. And these people masquerade as the righteous. And one of the reasons, the biggest reason he's apparently bringing this digital ID in is because of all the uncontrolled immigration that they've allowed, and the Conservatives and various others, for quite literally years, yeah. And we've got to apparently pay for their mistakes, yeah, and our trust level by government. Oh, come on. Hey, you're going to have to do this and that and this and that. Honestly, there is no end to where this goes. I've said it for years. All of a sudden, even if you're going for a beer, sorry, you've had 3 pints or whatever it is, no matter where you go, state says no, sorry, on your way, sorry, can't serve you for that. Oh, you've eaten this, honestly, food, you name it, travel, car, on every aspect of your life, you're going to be taxed on levels you will not believe. And all those idiots buying their white goods, their washing machines, their toaster, you name it, yeah. Oh, it's Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, with the rollout of the smart meters, they're quite literally going to tax you into the ground. Because you used the toaster twice in a day or you had a cup of whatever. Yeah, honestly, there is no end to where this goes. And it's only being allowed based on a willful ignorance and consent, acquiescence to this tyranny. It's absolutely tyranny.
Lighting the fires in the factories across the country.
Relighting the fires in the factories. Do you believe the fires in the factories? Yeah. Do you believe any of this?
In public services, absolutely, for all of us, from healthcare to transport.
Oh, but remember all these unwelcome guests, they're getting free travel. They're getting hotels, 3 meals a day, money in their pocket, phones, access to driving license. And by the way, I'm not even scratching the surface of what these people get access to. Yeah? While the rest of us really are starting to feel the pinch, and this is nowhere. We're just at the start of this in comparison to where they're going with this. Yeah, millions upon millions upon millions of pounds paid every day to people who have less than no skills, can't even speak bloody English, IQ's like, a cheese plant, but because of the colour of their skin, they're better people than the rest of us, and we should all welcome them with open arms. Meanwhile, women are scared to go out. So now, seriously, a number of guys out there are concerned to go out of an evening because of the change in demographics and all the rest of it. And remember, anybody who even talks about any of this, well, they're obviously a phobic this or racist that or blah, blah, blah. Look around at what's happening to you out there. Our genuine communities? Seriously.
And financial prudence, which is non-negotiable. But it does also mean stripping out regulation so we can build more and build more quickly. And the private sector can create wealth in every community. Now, some people...
How many independent businesses have they destroyed? Labour, Conservatives, you name it, over the last few years alone. Seriously, yeah. It's...
call this approach abundance.
Abundance! Abundance! Do you feel that life is abundant?
I have a different phrase for it. Social democracy.
Again, he says it all the way through it. Social democracy. It's another buzz phrase for communism followed by despotism.
But the way I see it, this is the defining political choice of our times. A politics of predatory grievance, preying on the problems of working people, and using that infrastructure of division against the politics of patriotic renewal.
Patriotic renewal. Seriously, they want to literally torch everything Western civilization has been about and has made it so successful. And they want to absolutely destroy it. And are they listening to anybody in the population? Well, anybody who's not an occultist or an occultist activist. No.
Rooted in communities, building a better country, brick by brick from the bottom up.
I mean, what is that saying to you? Brick by brick from the bottom up. They're absolutely about destroying everything that has made us so successful and enriched as Western nations. Intellect, cohesion, genuine, great lifestyle simply based around the embracement of families, no matter what class you were. Seriously. Everything is shredded and utterly destroyed until some point it's some androgynous drone slave race in the hive mind in collectivism on steroids in this technocracy.
Including everyone in the national story. Difference under the same flag. Because wherever you are in the world, we all have our different national symbols. And what I'll say is this, we must fight for them. Stand up to those who tell us that there's a tension between our symbols of pride and symbols of inclusion. Our multi-ethnic modern nation and...
Multi-ethnic modern nations. You know, remember, and I said this years ago to people like DJ and others, I'm like, there's not even going to be a Scottish island, a Western island, if it's not literally saturated by people from third world nations. Yeah, look, it's got to be. That's their view. That's their thoughts. And you can see it happening in real time. And we're all paying for it in so many ways. Imagine it. How many, by the way, you notice in this demographic change, how many of them were walking around during the day, heads on their phones, or I'm noticing more now that they've got a walking stick. Many of them, you know. So, yeah, it's well. Remember the obligation. Anybody disabled, whatever else, you know, they're more prone or expected to use a walking stick. I've been told this. Yeah, and you see them all out with their walking sticks, etc., blah blah blah. Where's this? Where's these doctors and engineers and scientists And all I keep saying is, if you're bringing them from third world nations, how's that helping these third world nations? But now we no longer talk about that. Yeah, because it's absolutely about the destruction of Western nations.
History and heritage. There is not. They are one and the same thing. That's the social democratic argument.
Did you miss it again? I mean, honestly, repeat.
It is a powerful one, and we must never surrender it. But of course, you need more than symbols for nation building.
Here we go.
You also need renewal. And it's important to be really clear on this. Renewal is not just fixing problems in some managerial sense. That is important, of course it is. People are very disappointed with the pace of change in government. It's so much slower.
No, they're absolutely disgusted with what's being put out by government. Yeah, not the pace of it. Oh, nobody's generally in the public saying we're not doing this fast enough. Really? Seriously?
Almost every other facet of their lives. So we do have to speed up. Poor delivery is a threat to mainstream politics. But renewal is a deeper argument. It means demonstrating to working people that, as well as the economy, the state is being run in their interests.
It's never been. Conservative, Labour, you name it, they're all part of the same Masonic puppetry. You look behind the scenes, you look at what they say they'll do, and I mean, it's astounding how quickly people went from blaming the Conservatives because they were in to blaming Labour for everything because they're in. It really doesn't matter which bloody party it is. They're the uni party. Same with the SNP. How can they be nationalists when every single thing they push onto the public's based on United Nations policy? He's WEF.
And that does mean we've got to look ourselves in the mirror and recognise where we've allowed our parties to shy away from people's concerns and let the politics of purity patronise people.
Politics of purity.
Now, you will all have issues in your own countries, but in Britain, it's illegal migration. And I suspect that may be the same in a number of other countries.
Because we planned it that way.
For too many years, it's been too easy for people to come here, slip into the shadow of...
We've made it too easy for people to just come here, dinghy surf, whatever else, just leap off boats, straight into cars, whatever else, trucks, vans, blah, 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 off to hotels, and a lifestyle they could only dream of, at the expense of the rest of us, while making the rest of us genuinely unsafer, yeah?
Economy and remain here illegally. Because, frankly, we've been squeamish about saying things that are clearly true.
Oh, no. Oh, well, they've not been squeamish about lying, but a lot of people are getting quite squeamish about saying anything online because, well, they could be doing some serious time for saying apparently what is perceived by one person hearty words. They made sure they had the laws in place and all the rest of it before they pulled the next part. It's the same with the 5G towers and all the rest of it, which ties into the ID card and then the chip under the skin. I've said to people for years, even if you've got a mobile phone, you've got it switched off, it's still got an RFID chip in it. Yeah, so it still gets picked up by these towers. You still know where you are. And the apathy is astounding. This is the next step.
It's not just that it's not compassionate left-wing politics to rely on labour that exploits foreign workers and undercuts fair wages, but the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders. We do need to know who is in our country. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. Otherwise, you
see, that's why Nicola Sturgeon kept saying, as soon as you touch Scotland's shores, you're as Scottish as everybody else in Scotland, which was a flat-out lie. But they're focusing on, well, our new guests, uninvited guests, yeah? While diminishing everything about us.
Undermines trust, undermines people's faith that we're on their side, and their belief that the state can and will work for them. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID.
You hear that? A new free of charge. Oh my God, you're going to be charged massively. This is going to cost you so much. But this new, I'm doing this. And he's a well-paid puppet. Just like, well, Tony Blair and others who were trying to push for that.
Politics is built on. Otherwise, it undermines trust, undermines people's faith that we're on their side, and their belief that the state can and will work for them. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of...
Think about this. You're going to have this, initially a card, and whether it be card, phone or whatever, and ultimately a bloody chip under the skin, just for you to exist in the country of your birth and be able to do any kind of day-to-day anything, while more and more draconian controls will be made on you. And if you don't go with the flow, you say anything against their narrative, and you'll lose your channels, you'll lose access to the internet, you might go to jail, you all of a sudden you can't drive anywhere, get on bus transport, airplane, you name it. This is ultimate control. Absolutely, while masquerading as the righteous. And then at some point this toss bag will be cast aside, off to do the after dinner circuit and all the rest, and replaced by another scumbag. They've got a bloody conveyor belt of these people. Seriously.
This Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Honestly, these people should be up for treason, like treason against that. I mean, does nobody remember the 1930s and certain barcodes being put on people and all the rest of it, yes? And this is on steroids. Absolutely on steroids. And in many respects, the same net results. These people are quite literally evil. There's no two doubts about it. Seriously. They literally crushed the souls of the many on the orders of the few.
Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them.
They've created all these issues. They've created them. Are you telling me the right motivated government could not stop all those people coming across our borders? I mean, it's been proven in America. Look at Trump. Seriously. All it takes is the political will. But no. You've got to take a chip. Over time, that's it. Anyway, I'll leave you a link to this. Thanks for bearing with me if you're still here. But yeah, petition against digital ID cards hits 1 million. As critics say, Keir Starmer's plan is a step towards mass surveillance and digital control. Well, I put, let's make it 2 million, but somebody said 10. I couldn't disagree. You know? Only came about because invasion in progress. General election now. Nice one. The push for digital ID in the UK has absolutely nothing to do with controlling my immigration and everything to do with fulfilling the ambitions of the WEF. Another one, 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a global framework adopted by the United Nations member states in 2015 aiming to end poverty, blah, blah, blah. I'd love for more people to say Agenda 21. I mean, I managed to actually get away with saying Agenda 21. And somewhere... Oh, they are. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, just before I go, let's tick more boxes. Brick card. Yeah, absolutely. And think about it, voting. Register to vote. Remember, this is how they sell you the idea that the validation of council tax and all the rest of it is the fact about your right to vote. And they'll send you a letter occasionally saying, you're obligated to fill this out, because otherwise you won't be able to vote. Who for? Seriously, that's the problem. Who for? Which puppet? So they are voting by vehicle appointment. So, by the way, honestly, over time, on it, if you think the suicide rate with a lot of people is high at the moment, it'll be nothing compared to, imagine that, and through AI, day to day, you've got to sign in. Heart stoppers, imagine that. Heart stoppers, but not in a good way, with what they used to describe as lottery card wins, and the wee scratching in. Oh, look, it's 2 numbers, it's 3. Heart stoppers. Now, these heart stoppers will be quite literally heart stoppers for you over time. It's the stress of all these appointments. And have you done everything that government is expected of you? And then let's not forget, have you done everything the government expects of you as regards carbon this and blah, 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 and the right thoughts? And there is no end to this. None. Yeah? A much longer vid than usual, but anyway, if you appreciate it, for the love of God, give it a thumbs up, a share, and if you haven't, a subscribe, I would thank you for. And I'll speak to you soon.